Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Voles, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. Oh, my goodness. Got a great show planned today. Looking forward to talking a little bit about bidding, and that might lead to contracts. I don't know. But ideally, we're going to talk about choices that we all make during the day and running our businesses, and bidding a little bit, and going to talk about a pretty good little a story with a customer, and you know how it goes. And then that'll get us all started and rocking, and then we'll talk about whatever you guys text in and want to talk about. And looking forward to your all's opinion for sure. Because as you all know, this show is only as good as you're all in your participation. So I look forward every Monday, Wednesday, Friday of doing my show. And today, here we are rolling in on Hump Day. And it's just hard to believe it. It's just hard to believe that these weeks are rolling by the way they are. But they are. And we got a cloudy, windy day here. We're under a wind advisory until like 1 a.m., I think it is. And we're going to have potentially some storms roll through here. Not potentially, probably the likelihood of it, realistically, roll through here a little bit later on, more in the late evening, 10 to 2, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. time frame. Good morning, Dan, out in St. Louis. Appreciate you listening to us, my friend. So hopefully you guys are okay out there and safe out in St. Louis and everywhere where people are listening to us. So we're going to have a good show today. Hope your week's going well. Our week's going really good here at WLS, we think. It's only Wednesday, though, right? It's only Wednesday, but hey, we think we're rolling along pretty good. We've made some great progress. We've been working ahead due to the weather, the anticipated weather that looks to be a pretty good bet as far as having a significant amount of rain rolling through here starting later on this evening, like I said, and continuing through Sunday off and on. So I don't know. They got us in a 7 to 10 inch rainfall total potentially, but you know, the reality that is a lot of rain, significant rain, and no doubt about that. But good deal, Dan. Glad to hear that. We'll talk about that. And but you know, the good part about it is, I guess, with that much rain is just a few, I don't know, maybe a month ago. I can't remember for sure, but few weeks ago, we had about 6 inches of rain. But the good part about it, if you will, or the good part about, you know, I always try to look to be the optimist, right? Yeah, the optimistic side of this rain that they're talking about, even though it's going to be a ton of it, and is it's going to come over 4 days, where just about a month ago we had 6 inches in, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours. I mean, it was crazy. And we did have a whole lot of flash flooding and a lot of issues. And I'm sure there's going to be issues with this one as well, but at least it's coming over a longer period of time. Now, it kind of stinks that it's going to happen, Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. So what's that do to workload for a whole lot of us, right? But we've been very aggressive trying to work ahead the last 2 days, and certainly we're going to I'll get all we can get in today, and hopefully by the end of today we're in pretty good shape. I think we're going to have our mowing complete, actually. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So and that was our goal when we started the week, like I talked about on Monday. Dan said weather's will hold it up a bit, but they've had a really good round one is almost completed. So yay, glad to hear that, Dan. We completed round one, and we're actually moved into round two. We got our round one done quicker than, for you guys that jargon wise are new to the industry, maybe that we're referring to our fertilization and weed control applications. I can hear some of you guys saying, "Wayne, why did you even explain that?" But hey, we got listeners all the time, that coming in new and may not understand what rounds are. It's kind of like, when you talk about bidding jobs, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a little bit, but we talk from the proposal side, and here I go off on my first tangent of the day, but I'm thinking of something Kyle told me just 20 minutes ago. It's funny, but my first tangent of the day is when you're submitting proposals to somebody, specifically like landscaping or mulching or whatnot, when we put in a proposal a 2-inch caliber tree or a B&B shrub, or a 3-gallon this, the reality of it is we understand the jargon, but maybe the client doesn't understand the jargon. So that's something to be aware of as well. So I thought I'd certainly bring that up. So good morning. Good morning, Seth. Appreciate you listening, my friend, as well. Mike, yes. Mike says, remember these weeks if you ever considered biweekly mowing. Oh my God, that is so funny. That is so true, Mike. And we're going to talk about that actually here in a little while. But yeah, that is an absolute great point to make. But before we get into all that, I wanted to give my buddies a shout out that Aaron Walls and Daniel, who were on before me today here on Turfs Up. And you guys did a great job. Great job as always. So appreciate you guys getting the day started on Turfs Up Radio. And stay tuned all day long. Realistically, stay tuned all day long. We're doing a little landscaping today and a little bit of mowing today. And curious what you guys are trying to do today. We're not making applications today. I mean, we got, pretty consistent winds out there and then gust. But like I said, we're in a wind advisory already. So we just weren't going to take the risk and do let's see what we can do thing, because it's kind of like spraying out at the airport. It's always windy at the airport, with or without planes, y'all. I don't know why, but it's always windy out there. We've got a couple tarmacs we take care of out there and for companies. And the reality of it is it's always windy out there. It just is. So, but we got a new listener today listening to us, Dwayne in Atlanta, Georgia. Dwayne, hopefully you tuned in to us, and look forward to having you as a listener here on Turfs Up Radio. And also appreciate you trusting Profits Unlimited to help you with your business. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to helping you do what you want to do with your business, as well as getting you involved here on Turfs Up Radio because there's a lot of great content that's shared here. And as a lot of you guys know, that's 24/7 radio, live radio. A lot of people say, well, is it just another podcast? Absolutely not. This is not one person. This is multiple people doing live shows that are turned into a podcast. And for all of our new listeners out there, certainly, take the time and check out our shows. You can go to the website, turfsupradio.com, and look at all the shows that are on and go back and listen to those podcasts. So sometimes you can listen live. I get that. Like specifically, like Aaron and Daniel, they're on daily. I'm on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, and our other hosts are on different schedules. So, so you can listen live, but you can also go back and listen to any live session because they're all on podcast as well. So just simply go to turfsupradio.com and the shows are right there. So you don't have to miss a minute. You can always listen in. That's the thing. And y'all can tell I can't sing, so we're not even going to attempt that. But I am curious what you guys got going on today. What you're into. So somebody share with me what you're into today. 502-550-8307. 502-550-8307. And like I said, I know for sure we got one new listener on with us today, and that's Dwayne. And like I said, he's in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And actually was helping him, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me share this with you. was helping him this morning go through his cost sheets, some cost calculation sheets. He is working through his know why you charge what you charge sheet. So, the reality of that is the first step in anything is always the hardest, right? I mean, you guys know it. I know it. We all know it. Change sometimes is hard. I understand that, but it's when you decide to take the first step. I remember when I decided to change my business. And I think the reality of it is, that fear of change is really our main competitor. Craig says he's doing walkthroughs, proposals, and spraying weeds today. Sounds like a plan, Craig. Good deal. Good deal. So, yep, do it while you can before the weather comes your all's way, right? Craig is over there toward the East Coast. So, yeah, absolutely. So, get it done today. So, I don't know how far this heavier rain's going to reach, quite honestly, but I think like Aaron Walls down in his area, I think he may be more in the sweet spot of even more potential bad weather and even more rain than we're going to have right here, in the Louisville area. So, um, Dan, that's funny. The hard part's texting during Spotify. True that. True that. Hey, if that's the worst thing we got to worry about today, it's a good day. But as we all work through our businesses each and every day, it goes back to if you had one chance, one opportunity, would you take it? And I think the reality of that is most of us are risk takers, or we wouldn't be in business, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. But I think what we got to think about is, are we willing to not just risk by going into business, but getting outside of our comfort zone? For an example, like Dwayne, for an example. Good morning, Corey. Appreciate you tuning us in. Good to have you with us. But, we get good deal. Good deal. Mike says they're out mowing today, trying to get some mowing done. Absolutely. They're going to get quite a bit of rain his way, too. So it's going to be a lot of rain in a lot of areas, is what it really amounts to. Uh, Aaron Walls says, I feel like Lieutenant Dan trying to beat the storm. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. You got going out shrimping. Actually, going out crawdadding, I guess, in your area, going out crawdadding, not shrimping. But, yeah, I appreciate all you guys reaching out. Let me know you're on with me today. But talking about, choices and the first step being the hardest, I want you guys to visualize for a second, here you are at the crossroads, right? You're coming up to a four-way intersection, let's say, and, are we going right? Are we going left? Or are we going to go straight? And I think that's something we all need to think about because, human nature in most situations is going to tell us to keep going straight. It's our comfort zone, right? We generally don't want to make that choice or chance or change, however you want to look at it, of taking let's take a right-hand turn. Let's see what's down that way. Or let's take a left-hand turn, because we get comfortable in doing things a certain way. But what I challenge each and every one of you guys listening to us today here on Turfs Up is to do this. Do something different today. Look at your business. I guarantee you can find something within your business, whether it's bidding, proposals, marketing, advertising, selling, whatever it is. Do something a little bit different than the way you've been doing it today. Daniel talks about it quite a bit about 1% changes, 1% change. Make a 1% change today. Do something. Because the reality of it is, not to keep repeating myself, but I am going to say it again. Human nature wants us to keep walking straight, keep doing things the same way we did it before, because that's our comfort zone. We don't like getting outside our comfort zone sometimes. However, for our customers or for our companies and customers to grow, we're the ones that have to be willing to make a different choice. Now, maybe the choice that you make isn't going to be, you might say, God, why'd I do that? Things were okay the way they were before. Or you may say, man, I'm glad I did that. I was really scared this was going to happen, but it didn't. And also know that change takes a while. It's kind of like when you take on a new lawn for somebody, whether you're mowing it or treating it. Let's look at it from a treating it perspective for a minute. You put on a new lawn that looks pretty rough, and probably one of the first things you're going to tell the customer is, hey, this is going to take us a minute to get it in order. Excuse me. But the other side of it is, as long as the customer knows that, then the expectations are going to be okay. So we're going to make a different choice. The customer's going to make a different choice, let you provide their maintenance. But are you willing to make the choice and the change to go outside the box, if you will, that says, hey, I want to let you know up front, this isn't going to be a one application and your yard's going to be in perfect shape. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we make in the lawn industry is we don't, there's a fine line between talking too much and not saying enough. But I think when it comes to specifically lawn care and lawn applications, we need to let our customers know that your yard didn't get in this bad a shape overnight, and we're not going to fix it in an application. I actually was talking to my neighbor last night about her yard, and we don't do anything for her. I'm one that doesn't like working for my neighbors because when I go home, I want to go home. Now, I do some things for our neighbors occasionally, but with the strict understanding that, when I come home, we're not talking about your yard or your landscape. It's just the way it is. I'm, called the office like everybody else does. But Kim, my neighbor, she actually reached out to us and asked me if I would, take a look at some things going on in her yard for her. And what I told her was, Kim, realistically, with your company that you've got providing service, what they told you is 100% accurate. And I've heard the same complaint coming from our customers before. They've got we're in the transition zone here in Louisville, right? So we can grow warm season grass, we can grow cool season grasses. And her problem is her neighbor's got a yard full of Bermuda, and it's creeped into her yard some, not significantly, but some. And she's like, they're giving me excuses on why I got all these brown spots in my yard, and I need to seed my yard. They've killed my weeds. Now I got all these bare spots, and they're saying that, well, they've done their job actually. Other than suggesting seeding, they had done their job. I mean, for you guys that do fert and weed, how many times haven't you had that phone call? Well, I got these bare spots in my yard. I'm paying for lawn service. We get those calls. But are you being proactive? Are you being proactive with those customers is the question, and letting them know in advance. And sometimes when you tell them, they still don't remember. So we can all agree to that, right? That, well, I've told them 100 times about this. But the reality of it is this company is doing a good job. And that's what I told her last night. I said, your broadleaf weed problem's not that bad. It's predominantly the few that you've got going on are in your bare areas or your really thin areas. But the first thing in a bare spot's a weed, not a grass plant. I mean, we got to put more grass seed in the ground. So, but now's not the time to do it. And that's what I wanted her to be aware of, whether she ends up having us do it this fall or them do it. It's up to her. But I wanted her to understand that the reality of it was these guys are doing a really good job. They told you right on the Bermuda grass, and there you are. Your yard's not in bad shape, you know. So I said, and the good side of it is, in about 30 days, this will be green and you won't even notice it, you know. But so many people, they want to throw the lawn care company under the bus first, when sometimes we can help ourselves with a little education for the customer, but sometimes even the education for the customer doesn't help. So what it boils down to, again, is what I was talking about a few minutes ago, is you have a choice. None of us can change the past. We can all agree to that, right? And I'll get to all y'all's text here in just a second. So not one of us can go back and change the past. Wish we could. We'd all go have things we would do differently, right? We can't change what we did 5 seconds ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, 5 days ago, whatever, 5 months, 5 years, whatever. We can't go backwards. But what we can do is go forward and don't repeat the same mistakes. Don't keep, we come to that 4-way stop sign like I was talking about. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Make different choices. Try different things. And like I said, my challenge to everybody today is to try to do something different today in some aspect of your business. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to go through it all again, but whatever it is, it can be in production, it can be in efficiencies, it can be in whatever you want it to be. But try to do something different today. And look at it from the standpoint, if you had one chance, one opportunity, would you take it? Or are you going to let it slip away? There's no need in letting it slip away. Take the chance, make the choice to do something different, and let choice, not chance, control your destiny. And I'm going to say that one more time. Let choice, not chance, control your destiny. We'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Craig and Mike sent me some really interesting and good texts. Craig said he heard from a business coach that if you improve 1% a month for 10 of the next 12 months, you'll be 10% better in a year. There you go, Daniel. What do you think of that?
There you go.
There you go. There you go. See, it's not rocket science. It's just you got to trust the system. That's what it's about.
Technically, I think you'd be more than 10%, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're adding 1% to your existing percentage, and then you add another 1% onto that, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't exactly know how to say it.
We need to get Katie involved. Katie says you're right.
It'd be compounding growth.
It'd be like compounding interest.
So, yes.
Remember the what?
Pennies.
Oh, the penny thing. Yes, absolutely. Penny. But the point's well taken, Craig.
Yes.
That's it.
But I'm actually going to try to figure that out.
Daniel's going to.
Because I'm interested now.
Daniel is our resident solid think it all the way through guy, on stuff like that. But no, it is an absolute great point, Craig. It really is. Craig also said he had one of those customer complaint emails this morning. He said, I had to remind the guy basically that we had this discussion back in February, but he opted for spot seating versus his pre-emergent. And see, that's what I say. Customers get selective memory sometimes, they really do. And it doesn't make them bad or dumb or indifferent. It means that they're more interested in the short-term solution rather than a long-term solution. And the deal is, if, they may say, yeah, go ahead and do it. But it goes back to, that email we had the other day from that lady that I talked about actually here on the show, where she said, I just want it mowed, but I want it trimmed once a month and no frills, no fuss. Well, this guy, I'm sure, felt the same way. No frills, no fuss. Just put me some fescue in. And you said, okay, I can do that, but we're not going to be able to put our pre-emergent down. And that's going to create a bigger problem very soon. Well, his solution was the customer solution, I mean, was he wanted the grass and not the pre-emergent in Craig's world. And the reality of it is, Craig, that happens to every one of us. You know, we
I have the
do
answer.
all we can do. Daniel's got the answer to that.
So you'd actually grow 10.46%.
Oh,
So you basically get a free 0.46%.
by doing 1%.
Yeah.
There you go, man. So there, hey, if nothing else, we are educational here on Profit Time. And that's why if you're looking for help with Profits Unlimited, give us a call. We'll be happy to help you guys out. But no, it is solid advice, and it's a point very well taken, Craig. Very well taken. You can't make progress if you don't make change. That's just it. You know, Mike said he had that very same conversation yesterday. You know, Mike said sometimes he thinks if he just had a dark green can of spray paint
Yeah.
that he carried around with him, it'd fix a whole lot of issues. You know, and that's probably true too. People look out and, if it looks green, they're okay because most of them aren't walking around in their yard dissecting the yard. They're
Right.
just seeing either a dandelion or a clover or chickweed or, something that's got something that is going to stand out. Speaking of standing out, what about colorblind customers?
Guess it's a win.
Huh. Yeah, could be. Because I guess it'd be what colors they do and don't see, right?
Yeah. But there's
Or-
probably less diversity in their color palette, if you will.
Yeah.
So they're green. One weed that's slightly different color green probably won't stand out as much to them
As it would
as it would to somebody else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good deal. Good deal. Hey, keep your all's comments coming, man. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. And we got our uniform stuff in. When I say our uniform stuff in, a couple weeks ago, we got our new long. Where would you get? We got
Long sleeves, short sleeves,
2 or 3 different kinds of
sweatshirts,
hats. Yeah, the guys like those floppy hats, especially in the
Yeah.
summertime.
Man, it's
I like them actually. I'd take them to the lake, man.
yeah.
I love it.
I wear them at the lake or on vacation.
Yeah. Well, but they give you good protection all the way around and on your neck, and it's got the insect repellent in it, and then we got our other caps, and I don't know, we got 2 or 3 different things over there, and then our we got some hoodies for the transitional time of the year, and Katie's got her new what's that, like a 3/4 zip on her, and she was thinking she wasn't going to get to wear it till next fall. She said, "Well, I guess I'll put this away," but she rode in here today with it. Looks like next week we're going to be in the 30s. So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's probably a good 2 months left of potential sweatshirt weather, really. Maybe
Yeah.
not during the day, but certainly nights and mornings.
yeah, nights and morning kind of time frame. But we just wanted to share that with you guys to talk about the importance of the branding for your company. Because you see a whole lot of companies out there that are providing service, whether it's mowing or whatever, fill in the blank, it could be any type of business, that there's no uniformity at all to it, And I think it's very important that you look professional. In other words, whether you're a one truck operation, one person operation, or a very large company or anything in between, I think it's important that you, number one, have a uniform policy as far as you're going to wear, our logoed stuff. It's number one. If you want to wear a hat, you wear one of our styles. We're not cutting the sleeves out of shirts. You see that a lot where sleeves are cut out or they're slit up the sides and, going through that. But, branding's a very important aspect to your business. And I think it's something that a lot of companies could do a whole lot better at, but they're not spending the time or the effort or the money to make it happen. And use a good quality shirt. You know, I can't emphasize that enough. A lot of people, and we've got some really cheap T-shirts. Okay, um, we've got some really cheap T-shirts. Sometimes when I say really cheap, so I'd probably offend somebody, but just those. What's that brand? Uh, God,
Gildan.
huh? Yeah,
Gildan.
yeah, that's them. You know, so and they're okay too. Especially when you get into the summer. But we've went to a wicking type shirt now. It's supposed to be a cooler shirt.
Yeah, most people are familiar with like dry fit.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of what it was. Yeah, dry fit stuff, and it's a little more expensive to buy. But if we can make our people more comfortable, then absolutely that's the main goal. Um, any specific? Let's see. Mike said, "Do you have any specific uniform requirements for your subs?" Yeah, that they wear their logo uniform stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about, going after the sub that's already to a certain level and not trying to go after a sub that you're going to have to build up to professional level, right? Like
Right.
there's a difference in coaching someone and getting someone on board that's already doing that from a lawn service perspective.
Right. Yeah. Great point. And that is it. It's and Mike actually brought that through on his next text to us. He says, or is that vetted out through the hiring on the process of getting your subs? And that is it. I mean, we look for professionals going in. People. That's how we decide who we're even going to talk to. Is what do they look like?
Yeah.
You
Yeah. I
know,
mean, you, as
both
a,
both both professionally and uh, got like I don't. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't
are
figure
you
out how
trying
to
to
say
say
it.
like what they wear and
And
their
their appearance,
hygiene or,
yeah, in their hygiene, yeah. Do
yeah.
do they? Was I mean, I don't care if a guy's got a beard or whatnot, but it's going to be maintained. I want that. I want that same image with our subs that we project
Yeah.
out.
Well,
You
when you
know,
go after a sub, it's in your best interest, obviously, to have those qualities, of course. They probably have been in business a few years and understood that those things are important,
they are important.
and they're going to continue to do those things because they know they're important, and you don't have to babysit them doing those things.
And that's something to promote in your advertising as well. You got the branding side and the marketing side, the perceived value side. But, when you're actually advertising, that's something to think about throwing out there that, hey, train the uniform professionals, and there's a difference. There is a big difference. And, whether you're doing that in a digital format or paper format or, however you're doing it, social media, I guess that'd be digital, you know, be sure to promote that side. And if you're not good with that, feel free to reach out to us. Katie can certainly help you with the digital side of your marketing campaign, to say the least. So you may say, well, I'm not good at that. I don't have time to do that. Reach out to it. Katie's got a program where she can help you with that and does help several contractors with their social media side, and very affordable. So if you're interested in that, feel free to give her a call. Matter of fact, here's her phone number if you want it: 502-751-8341. 502-751-8341. And she can tell you basically how affordable it is and your return on investment, what it's going to look like, and the advantages of utilizing a consistent uh, effort in marketing and advertising. And that is very, very important. So let's see what we got text coming in, Daniel. Let's see. Mike said, I can see it now. We showered this morning. Kidding, of course, but I've seen some shady people. We all have. Yesterday, I left our office, and not literally 200 yards from us, these two guys were cutting this piece of property. And if they could have looked any worse than they did, they would have had to tried really hard. I mean, they were really, and I say that with all respect to our industry, but it amazes me how many people just, and I know it's not any of our listeners, but I just got to vet on this for a minute, vent on it. It amazes me how many people, and some people don't care, right? Probably Daniel, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
some
that.
people just don't care.
Some people just don't care. These guys obviously did not care one bit what their image was, and I can understand why they're a mow and blow operation, But these guys just couldn't have cared less based on the way they looked. Now they may have done a good job. Honestly, I didn't look when I came back by, you know, and it probably was a good job. But my whole point of even sharing that with you guys on the radio today is think about what you look like, because, and maybe I'm stereotyped, and maybe it's because I'm 62 years old. Okay. I don't know. And Daniel, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. But I do believe that people make a buying decision sometimes based on the image of what they see. I can believe that some people say, well, I don't care what they look like. I just want this done or that done, but I got to believe that there is a large percentage of the population out there that do care what somebody looks like when you're coming to their home
Yeah.
and or their business.
Especially when you're trying to target someone that will pay a little bit more for a premium service, right? Like that's what they what I will say on a general level, that's what that consumer is comfortable with seeing. They're not comfortable with someone that looks like they might break into their house, being at their house when especially when they're not home, right? Like that's just what that level of consumer doesn't want around them.
Right.
I mean, it might sound bad, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. We got to think about it. I want you guys to think about it. Maybe that could be your 1% change today, is to aggressively look at what your perception is towards the client or potential clients that see you, you know, because, the reality of it is, and this is something I learned from Hackabus many years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And he made a really good point with this is your customer's perception is your reality. So I don't think any of us perceive ourselves as being less than professional, but as what's an outsider looking in see? Because that's the reality. Their perception is your reality. And that's what we got to deal with. That's what we got to be willing to make a different choice and potentially change, and let choice, not chance, control that destiny for your company from the perceptual side. What do you think?
I think most people who don't look not necessarily sharp, right? Like you don't have to be squeaky clean, but most people who don't put any effort into their appearance or their clothing looking good or matching, or they just don't know. It's hard to, you can't really, I don't think you can care about uniforms and how they impact your business if you don't know, if no one's ever told you.
Right.
And
It's one of
that's
those things.
something
Yeah.
that you can't know it until you know it. And you have to, and that's something too that you have to be willing also to reach out and learn and figure out new things for yourself. It's not on somebody else to do that for you,
Yeah.
but it's hard to know. It's hard to care about something when you don't know it.
Yeah. It goes back to you don't know what you don't know. And the reality of it is, we as a business owner, we meaning you and I, right? You that are listening to us, we don't like spending things that spending money on something that we don't think we are going to get a direct return on that investment. But when it comes to branding and perceived value, that's something that it's hard to measure, but the reality of it is a measurable event in your business that takes place on a daily basis, not just through the course of uniforms or hoodies or pullovers or 3/4 zips or hats or but also from the standpoint of your equipment, your trucks, your trailer, how you act when you stop and eat lunch. We've all seen it. I mean, how many times haven't you seen a group of contractors in a restaurant, whether it's fast food or not, and they're sitting there being about halfway goofy but they got their name displayed all over their shirts, and me as a consumer, if I'm seeing that or they're being loud or, language isn't what it should be for, being in public in that situation, we got to think about the little things, because the reality of it is if we take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. And, and what is it that makes the phone ring? What is it that makes the lead come through your website? That's what we also need to look at. When we're talking about bidding jobs, and want to touch base on that for a little bit today. Excuse me. What are a few things we want to consider before bidding a job? If anybody's got any input on that, shoot me a text. 502-550-8307. That's 502-550-8307. What are some things that you look at before bidding? I think, and while you guys are texting, looking forward to some of that. While you guys are texting that in, I want to share a few things that we look at. Number one is, why did they really call us? I think that's really an important aspect of how we're going to handle that lead when it comes through. And what I mean is, why'd they really call us was, are they calling us because they're really interested in changing services? Or are they interested in acquiring, service for the first time? Maybe they've been doing it themselves. Or are they calling us just to price check the person they've already got? All those things are realities on why somebody had really called us. But we try to figure that out first. And sometimes they may fit from that standpoint, but they say, and by the way, we need the estimate by today at 4 p.m. at the end of business or whatever. Or we need, we need to bid by Friday, or they throw in an unrealistic expectation. I think that's something that we think about. Let's see what we got here. I do a drive-by before my meeting for a proposal, so I know what to expect and I'm not caught off guard. Absolutely, it's a great idea. Kind of doing your due diligence on what you're going to look at, who you're going to talk to, what's the property already look like, but that's something very, very important too. And I think something else that took me a long time to pick up and learn and be more efficient with my time was not only how quick they need the estimate, okay, but prioritizing those estimates when they come in, especially this time of the year. When we're all kicking our seasons off, things are going pretty good, phone's ringing off the hook, you're getting a lot of lead requests, but you can't see them all at one time. And the smaller your company is, the more of an issue that becomes. And how do you handle that? How are you handling the prioritizing of the estimates that come in? Are you using the first in, first out methodology? Because we used that for a long time, quite honestly. Or do you do something different? This was one of the changes we made, quite honestly. Goes back to we needed to make a change. We couldn't see everybody in a timely manner. And it's before we had multiple people that could actually give pricing, right? You know, now, I mean, Katie can take care of quite a bit of it right here from the office when it comes to reoccurring service type work, so that's pretty quick and effective. But what we also learned is we need to prioritize those estimates. In other words, if something comes through for a request for a quote that fits into our wheelhouse really good on what we provide and the service area we provide it in, we'll give that priority over something that's not such a great fit. When you're getting multiple leads at a time, and how many is too many is different for each and every one of us, right? Or what constitutes busy. But what I do know is, from my own experience, is the smaller I was, the harder it was to respond and take care of lead generation that was coming through. So are you prioritizing those accounts? And know that it's okay to put a better potential client ahead of somebody else from a proposal standpoint. Or that's just my 2 cents worth on it. I know some guys will sit and argue till they're deaf and don't want to talk anymore about it. But the reality of it is simply this. For us, we decided that, hey, if we've got multiple leads sitting there, we're going to pick the one. It might have came in today and we got 3 from yesterday that are still waiting on a proposal. But if something fits better, the one that fits best is going to be dealt with first and fast and foremost. So I think we got to figure out a way, each and every one of us, including you for your company, is get off of the first in, first out methodology and start prioritizing those estimates if you're not already doing that. So just a suggestion, suggestion on that. Let's see what we got here. Mike says they use a Google Street View to identify the service area and the schedule capacity. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Fred says red flags in a proposal: urgency, scope of work. Are they to the decision maker? Absolutely. Great point. Somebody was just talking the other day, just yesterday, to me. God, do y'all remember? Daniel, you remember what it was about? Somebody was pushing for the proposal, and it was a whole lot of things they wanted done, but it was actually the maintenance coordinator that actually was talking to him, and not so to.
Gosh.
But it was just yesterday, that exact thing. Make sure that you got an opportunity.
Corey.
Yeah, Corey. It was Corey the other night. That was it. Yeah, Corey was talking about that. So, and that is a very valid point. Or when they bring out, hey, we're getting multiple bids, or 4 bids, 3 bids, 5 bids, whatever it is, and yeah, thanks, Mike. Mike said it was Corey the other night in our Zoom meeting. Yeah, but that is the truth. When somebody calls you and tells you they're getting multiple bids, I don't have a problem with somebody getting multiple bids, but I'm not going to bust my tail to get ours to them faster than somebody that didn't tell us that. And maybe they still are getting a few bids, and that's okay. They're doing their due diligence. But on the other hand, I'm not going to break my back if I don't have to get to somebody that says they're taking multiple bids, because what I've found out in a lot of places and places and or people, when they tell you they're getting multiple proposals, that can lead to price being the deciding factor, which I understand that. But it also can lead to, I bust my tail, and this happened to me a lot. I busted my tail to get that proposal to them by the due date, if you will. And then when I do my follow up on it, what do I hear? Well, hey, Wade, we're still waiting on proposals to come in. We hadn't got them all yet. Well, I thought they were due on March 28th. Well, they were, but we still have 3 that are outstanding. We're waiting on those. And
That should be a red flag for them.
that's a red flag. Yeah, that's my point. That's when I will say I thought they were due on the 28th. And not talking bad about whoever it is that hadn't submitted their proposal on time or based on what it was supposed to be sent in. But it's a valid question to say if they can't get their proposal to you on time, what leads you to believe that they're going to provide service in a timely manner? I don't think that's criticizing. I'm just saying we follow the rules.
Yeah, if someone's not working hard to try to get your money, they're probably not going to work too hard when they already have it.
Yeah. And that's just it. Yeah, that's a very valid point as well. Fred also said if the word cheaper is mentioned, that slows him down. Look for somebody cheaper. That I hate that too. That's just one of those things that, man, just rolls over me, man, hard. And if you've got history with that company, Fred, that's an absolute great point as well. How many, if you get the call from a company that was, what's history on it? Is it history with you? Is it history with somebody you knew? Um, Mike said he was just getting ready to say that as well. But heck, yeah, that's all. So we run into similar issues, is what it amounts to. We can tell by the text that you guys are sending in. So regardless where we're at in the country, we run into similar issues. So it's up to you to prioritize your accounts that are important based on who you want, where you want them, why you want them. And until you do that methodology and stop with first in, first out, like Wayne did for a long time. Like I said, I did it wrong for a long time. I thought first in, first out was the best methodology, but at the end of the day, it's not. We owe it to ourselves to have something better in place than that FIFO accounting methodology. A lot of inventory works that way, right? First in, first out. But I don't think it works good for us. So with that being said, man, we didn't even get into the bidding side of things, Daniel. And I was really looking forward to that. We're going to do that Friday. We're going to follow this process through. But hey, I appreciate your time. Friday, we're going to talk about the actual process of bidding the job and things to think about, and that sending that proposal to the client and how we deal with all that. So hope you guys have a great day. Appreciate all the text as always. You guys make it more fun every time. You guys make it interesting, and it's educational for each and every one of us. We all make ourselves a better company by listening and doing and sharing here on Profit Time, here on Turf's Up Radio. So be safe. If you're in an area where you got those storms rolling through this afternoon and tonight and tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, be safe. And that's what comes first, right? Safety first. But look forward to seeing all you guys on Friday. And remember, as always, profit is not a dirty word.